Okay, so in this video we're just going to go through the basics of how to find percentages of amounts. In this one I'm not going to be using multipliers, I will be doing that in a separate video. We're just literally starting with the basics of how to find the percentages. So for this, the first thing that I always do is write out 100% equals the number that's in the question. Okay, so 100% is always the total, and the total in this will always be the number that you're trying to find the percentage of. Okay, so if we're trying to find 10%, I look on the left hand side and I think, what do I do to 100 to get to 10? Now with this, it has to be divide or multiplying. So if I divided 100 by 10, that would give me 10, which means I'd have to also divide the 30 by 10, which gives me 3. So my answer is that 10% of 30 is 3. Okay. For the next one, again, start off with 100% equals the number in the question, so 80. So you could find 20% and 5% and add them together. That's what we're going to do later on. We can actually get straight from 100 to 25 by dividing by 4. Okay, which means I also need to divide 80 by 4, which tells me then that 25% of 80 is 20. Okay, so the next one is slightly harder, just because we've got a smaller percentage. But again, first thing, 100% equals the number. So we want 3%, so I'm going to actually find 1% to start off with, not 10, just because 1 is much smaller and it's closer to 3. So I would have to divide 100 by 100 to get 1%. Which means I'd have to do the same on the other side. So 200 divided by 100 is 2. We obviously want 3%. So what I can do is multiply 1 by 3, because 1 times 3 gives you 3%, which means I also need to times the other side by 3. So 2 times 3 would give you 6. So 3% of 200 is 6. Okay, so for the next ones we're going slightly harder. So we've got to find 12% of 40. So what I would do is I would find 10% and then also find 2%. So to do that, I would find 1% and then just multiply it by 2. And then we can add those answers at the end, okay? So again, always start off with 100% equals 40, okay? Because the number's 40 in the question. So I'm going to start off with finding what 10% is. So to get from 100 to 10 means I need to divide by 10. So 40 divided by 10 gives me 4. Okay, I also need 1%. So to find 1%, you can either go from the 100 or you can start from the 10. It doesn't really make a difference. So 10 divided by 10 would give you 1%, which means I need to divide the 4 by 10, which is 0.4. Okay, so I need 2%, because obviously we're trying to make 12. So to do that, I can multiply 1 by 2, because 1 times 2 is 2, which means I need to multiply this side by 2 as well, which is 0.8. So we need the 10%, and we need the 2%. Okay, so if we add these two together, that means that 12% is going to be equal to the 4.8. Okay, so I've just added those two sides and then added those two sides. Okay, so all of these are very similar. I'm going to do it the same method. If you do struggle with this, sort of split them up first so you know which percentages you need to find, and then it'll make it a lot easier. So for this one, I'm going to find 70 and I'm going to find 6. So to find the 70, I need 10. And then I can multiply by 7. And for the 6, I need to find 1 and then multiply by 6. Okay. There are different ways of doing it. If you want to do it different ways, it's your decision. I'm just doing it the most basic method, I would say. So 100% is 150. So first thing we need is 10%. So 10% would be 100 divided by 10, which means it would be the other side, so 150 divided by 10, which gives me 15. Then I want 70, so that means I've got to times 10 by 7, because that gives me 70, which means I need to multiply this side by 7 as well. So 70% is, I want to say 105, but I will check that. 15 times 7, yep. Okay, so that's that bit done. We need to also find 1% to be able to do the 6th part. So I'm going to start at the 10. So 10% was 15. So if we divide that by 10, that will give me 1%, which means I need to divide that by 10, which is 1.5. So then 6% is going to be the 1% times by 6, which is 9. Okay, so we want the 70% and we want the 6%. So that means 76 is going to be those ones added together. 76% will be that plus that, which is 114. Okay. So I've added in this last one. This one isn't very common. Normally the percentages are all less than 100, but I thought I'd add it in just because later on you might need it. So again, I'm going to start off with 100%. So if we want 120, we need the 100, which we've already got. And then we also need 20%, and then we can add those together. So we can actually get to 20% from 100 by dividing by 5. Again, you could have found 10% and then multiplied by 2, if that's easier for you. So 35 divided by 5 is 7. So we've got the two percentages that we want. So we've got 100 and we've got 20. So if we add those together, that would give us 42. So 120% is 42.